There are a few options available for identifying your horse. One of the presenters made a point of saying that nylon and rubber melt. She suggested finding something that doesn't melt if you find yourself in the position of having to turn your horses loose. Leather doesn't melt. One option of which I am aware is a fetlock band that requires 32 pounds of force to break if it becomes entangled on something. It is nylon. Yet another option is a small plastic device designed to clip into the mane. I have been told it doesn't stay on for long, and it is plastic. Another presenter talked about how the evacuation unfolded during the Marshall Fire, which burned 6,000 acres and 1,000 homes in one afternoon. This fire greatly affected suburban Boulder, Colorado, demonstrating that catastrophic wildfires can happen anywhere. During that suburban wildfire, rescuers with smaller two-horse trailers were the primary means of evacuating horses. The smaller trailers would haul the horses to an area where larger stock trailers were waiting. Unfortunately, the chain of ownership was significantly disrupted. When the horses arrived at the fairgrounds, no one knew whose horse it was. It was recommended that you have an index card totally filled out in advance, and you should be sure that index card accompanied the horse. The presenter finished this segment by stating that if you could put any kind of ID on the horse, that would help enormously. The fairgrounds manager noted that a few horses had shown up at the fairgrounds with IDs braided into the mane or tail and no halters. He acknowledged that halters can get caught on things, and therefore it is not a good idea to turn your horse loose with a halter on. The exception to that would be a breakaway halter. The fairground staff was very appreciative of the ease of identifying individual horses if they arrived at the fairgrounds with IDs attached to the horse.
So I started these tags because I used to ride in Homestead Meadows by myself. And I'm actually a retired veterinarian with my dogs who have embroidered collars with my phone number. And I would go with my two border collies, and I realized if the horse showed back up at the trailer without me, nobody would have any idea what to do with the horse, who was out there, what my medical conditions were, who to call, anything. And I knew better than that as a medical professional, so I started off with a tag that was bigger that just had ID my horse. I was really thinking. So then I ended up talking to EMTs, and they wanted the Red Cross symbol on me and the horse. I started wearing it on me, realizing I should have information on me. The EMT said, I have no idea what ID my horse means, but I do know what the Red Cross symbol means. So for yours, I want there to be a Red Cross symbol. So then I had one for riders with the Red Cross symbol with all my medical information, contact information, and all the stuff about my horse on the tag that I wore, and the horse had all the same information. So if we parted ways on the trail, then somebody could take the horse with his information, take me with my information, you're not trying to write it down or whatever. And so they said, I want reflective tape on the tag because in the middle of the night or in smoky conditions, I can't see your bay horse or your black horse or even your white horse if the smoke is really thick. So the latest iteration of the tags they're much smaller, they don't weigh anything, they're leather, they don't burn, they have all kinds of information inside in a plastic bag so that if you're riding and you get wet, your stuff doesn't go anywhere. My horses wear them 24/7. I only change them out when the braid looks so ratty I can't stand it any longer, but they don't come out. They don't bother the horses. I was taking notes here. You talked about peace of mind. We go trail riding, I don't have to worry about it. I'm wearing a tag, they're wearing a tag. We don't have to do that before we go. They're wearing them all the time. So I know, and when I had that fire burn down next to us, there was peace of mind. I'm like, if I have to turn them loose, I know that they'll get home because there's all this information already attached to them. Special needs. That you ought to have an index card, but if the index card gets lost, all that stuff's written on the horse. It's, you're not having to worry about whether they know my horse can't have alfalfa or he has Cushing's or whatever. It's all right there. The card would be a nice adjunct to it. You could even, identify, like put a number or something that connected the two. And it has a place for your vet and contact info. So if your card gets lost, then they can do that. If you turn them loose, if you have to turn them loose because they said it goes really fast. Again, you're not trying to write stuff on their hoof. I've been told by people that it lasts a day. I had a friend that said I was really on top of it. I wrote on their hooves and I wrote on their body, and I looked, at the end of the day, both of them were gone. So I wouldn't count on that to do it. Microchips are always brought up to me. They're awesome. They would be the final identifying factor if you said, this is my horse, but they're not going to wand 800 horses for the 1 or 2 or 3% that have microchips that haven't migrated. You know, and do you have that number, and is it current? Is your information current? That's not the best thing for an emergency like this.